So just a quick look at the form of the two teams coming into this weekend. So City have played 7, won 5 and drawn 2. So far they're undefeated in the league, scoring 23 goals and conceding 6. We have 2 losses and 4 wins out of 6 games. 2 losses obviously coming against Brighton and Brentford. Yeah, I mean, City have started the season very well. We obviously started the season very poorly. We've picked up, and we find ourselves 5 points behind City with a game in hand. So, if by some chance we do win at the weekend, we could, in theory, leapfrog City, which, if you had told me that after the Brentford match, I definitely would have given you a second look. So again, just another look here at City's league form. Most recently, they beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 3-0. Wolves, of course, were a man down that game after Kilman was sent off. But although the scoreline did seem like a fairly routine win for City, it is definitely worth noting that Wolves did pose a threat on the break, and this is definitely something that I think Manchester United can take advantage of. We can definitely use our pace on the break to hurt City. So, how are City going to line up? Most often this season, City have been playing in a 4-3-3. It can, of course, look a little bit more like a 4-2-3-1 depending on their personnel. But yeah, I think the City defence is probably going to pick itself this weekend. Ederson will start in goal. We will definitely see Kyle Walker play. Ruben Diaz will start. With John Stones being out injured, it's one off Akanji or Nathan Ake. I don't see Emerick Laporte playing his first minutes of the season in a Manchester derby. I just don't think Pep will do that. And I think João Cancelo will start at left back. Moving into midfield, obviously we've got Rodri. I think they'll go Gundogan and De Bruyne. I think they'll go for a bit more solidity in the middle of the pitch. And I do still think they'll start Bernardo Silva, but I think Bernardo Silva is going to start out wide right with Foden on the left, and of course through the middle it's just obviously going to be Erling Haaland. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be a football expert, you don't have to be a genius to look at the two teams and to say that City have a better team. City on paper have a better defence, better midfield, better forward line, a better goalkeeper than us, but football's not played in paper, and let's just see what can happen this weekend. So, the main danger man for City, of course, is going to be Erling Haaland. 7 Premier League appearances, 11 goals and 1 assist. What more can we actually say about this guy? I mean, he's like the Terminator. Like he is a force of nature. You can see here across all of his competitive appearances for City in Champions League and Premier League, the guy's got more goals than games. Like, that's just not normal. The guy is something. He is something special, and yeah, I mean, he was probably always going to put the numbers up like this at City. You have perhaps the best finisher in the world in the team that makes so many chances. You can certainly argue that City are the best team in the world, and perhaps this output was always going to happen, but you just have to step back, take a look at it and say, this is crazy. Like, how is this guy putting up these numbers in what we thought was the best league in the world, but perhaps we are the farmers after all. United are going to have to watch out for Kevin De Bruyne this weekend. As we can see here, Kevin De Bruyne has 6 Premier League assists this season in 6 appearances. So with Haaland scoring 11 and 7 and De Bruyne getting 6 and 6, we can see who their offensive danger men are. What more really can be said about Kevin De Bruyne? We can't let this guy get on the ball. We can't let him sit and pick his passes. Let him dictate the game. We just can't let this happen. If De Bruyne gets on the ball and gets creating for Haaland, Haaland could score, and that is just as simple as It's just a simple equation. So just looking at the main points of Ten Hag's press conference today, in terms of the weekend, we can see forwards Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are both back in training, which is very, very good news for us. We're going to need one of those guys minimum to be playing on Sunday if we're going to have much threat going forward. And it's good to see that they're both back in training. We can also see as well that Ten Hag has been sticking up for Harry Maguire. He confirms Maguire will miss the game, but he has said that he believes in the England defender and he can see his qualities. This isn't a Harry Maguire video. I mean, we all know about Harry Maguire. We know about the drop off in form. We know about the issues Harry Maguire's having, and we will cover those in a future video. But just for today, no Harry Maguire on Sunday. So, with that being said, this is what I would like to see Manchester United start with on Sunday. This is what I think Ten Hag will go with. I think he'll go David De Gea in goal. I definitely think we'll see the same back four that has won us 4 Premier League games on the bounce. So Tyrell Malacia at left back, Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane as centre back, and Diogo Dalot at right back. We will definitely see Christian Eriksen play. That's without Christian Eriksen has been one of, if not our best player this season. Where I think maybe we could see a possible change would be Casemiro coming in for Scott McTominay. Certainly when Casemiro was signed, I thought, okay, this is the end of Scott McTominay. We have brought in arguably the best defensive midfielder in world football. I mean, I know that Casemiro is obviously 30 years old, but the guy still got it. The guy was phenomenal. Head of the midfield, we have Jadon Sancho, who's definitely going to play off the left. I'm fairly confident we'll see Anthony on the right and Marcus Rashford through the middle. If he's fit, I'm going to go for Rashford. And I know he's obviously not the most natural number 9. I know that there's elements of his game that are lacking when he plays in that position. But for this game, I think Marcus Rashford is perfect. You could maybe, depending on fitness, if Rashford and Martial aren't fit, go Ronaldo. It seems a bit of a crazy concept, really, that you're talking about should Ronaldo play or not. But this is 2022, and Ronaldo is what he is now. Alternatively, you could see Anthony Martial start if he is fit, but he hasn't played more than 45 minutes this season, and I just don't think Ten Hag will put him in straight away. But I mean, if he's fit, it's an option. We maybe could see Marcus Rashford come in and Anthony drop out. We could go Sancho, Martial, Rashford as a front three. We saw that in pre-season. It worked very well in pre-season. So it's a possibility, but in all likeliness, I think it'll be Rashford through the middle. Going to go Jadon Sancho on the left and Anthony on the right. So, on paper, the key man for us this weekend, if he starts, will be Marcus Rashford. 6 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists this season. It's looking good. He's looking more like himself. And yeah, I mean, Premier League Player of the Month for September. It's a bit shameless when matches being called off, but I mean, yeah, he's been looking more like himself, and we hope just to see that continue over the course of the season. So we're just going to look at this here now. This is the main reason why I think Marcus Rashford is our key man this weekend. So when we're looking at goals against the so-called Big Six, goals and assists, Marcus Rashford has 32. That is an unbelievable return. We can see against City here, Marcus Rashford has scored 4 goals and has 1 assist. And he'll definitely be our danger man. You can say what you want about Rashford when it comes to playing most matches throughout the season, but when it comes to the big matches, when it comes to the Big Six, Rashford's your guy, man. What Rashford is an elite elite exploiter of space. Whenever we play these teams, we see them, they come, they move higher up the pitch than what most Premier League teams will. They'll defend from the halfway line, and Rashford will get in behind. And the guy has made a killing off it in these big games. And if he's fit, and if we can find him on Sunday, I think they'll score. We've seen it in the Wolves game. Wolves look dangerous against City. Wolves look like they could hit City on the break, and that is something that we need to exploit. That is something that we need to use against City, because let's be honest, we can't go toe-to-toe with City. We're not there yet. Maybe 2-3 seasons under Ten Hag will then be able to turn up and give City a game of it, but until that point, I think we are safer going more pragmatic, going that little bit more defensively solid and trying to hit them on the break. We've seen it work. It's worked for Jose, it's worked for Ollie, and this season under Ten Hag, we've seen it work against Liverpool and we've seen it work against Arsenal. Ten Hag, to his credit, is not afraid to be pragmatic. He is not afraid to do what he has to do to get the best out of the players he has. These guys aren't his players. This squad has been assembled by Louis van Gaal, by Jose Mourinho. It's been assembled by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now it has some of Ten Hag's players in it as well. It's not his team yet, and until it is, I'm not going to begrudge the guy going that little bit more pragmatic, that little bit more defensive, if needs be. If it gets us points, if it gets us results against these big teams, then I'm all for it, and I don't see why anybody else would really have an issue with it. Two teams, I think this is how we're going to line up. I think if we're looking at what's likely to be our average match positions, it's going to be low. I think we'll probably see McTominay in here, see the defenders low. We'll see the fullbacks coming in that little bit more. We'll see the likes of Anthony and Sancho coming deeper. We'll see Christian Eriksen pick the ball up here, and he'll probably have Bruno Fernandes operating in and around this area. Rashford likely to occupy this kind of central position. So, of course, with City, we know that Haaland will be up right on top of the Gea, because that's what he does. We'll probably see Bernardo Silva operating in the half space between Martinez and Malacia, and on the other hand, we'll see Foden operating between this here half space. We'll see João Cancelo, of course, bombing on in that inverted role. De Bruyne likely to take up a central position, centre left, and Gundogan likewise centre right. We'll see Rodri, of course, sitting around here. Kyle Walker will be used as the cover, as he usually is for City and for England. Of course, we'll see these guys here, and we'll see Ederson just sweeping up this area, playing that sweeper keeper role. And yeah, that's likely to be the kind of picture of the match. Where we can cause City damage is whenever the ball comes into this area here. Whenever it comes to Martinez, it comes to Varane, it comes to Eriksen, and it comes to Bruno. Whenever we get the ball in those positions, we will then have Rashford to hit in this space here. Now, it's going to be difficult, of course. Ederson sweeps up most things that come into the City half. It's going to be a really, really difficult match. But we know what we're getting into. We know what's coming. We know what City are going to do. We know what we're going to do. And it's about whether we can stop them playing for the minute, because we don't have the capacity to go out and outplay them at the minute. I firmly believe that, and I don't think until Ten Hag gets the players that he wants, gets the team built in his image, that we will turn up to places like City, like Anfield, like Chelsea, and expect to play them off the pitch. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. It's just not in our locker at the minute, and we are going to have to play pragmatic. It's worth noting that since the Brentford match, United have had the lowest defensive line in the league, and that for several reasons. It's because we're playing that bit more defensive, we're being that bit more pragmatic. It's also because of this guy. This guy has been great for us over several years, many years, but he's just looking like yesterday's man, and it's not a question of his shot stopping. I know David De Gea can stop the ball going into the net. I know he's got great reactions. I know he can save, but it's playing with the ball at his feet, and that's where the problem's coming from. And its inability to sweep up is meaning that we have to play deeper. We probably played a higher line whenever we were under Ollie with Dean Henderson playing. I don't think Dean Henderson's the answer to our questions, but I do think that he certainly swept up and allowed us to play a higher defensive line whenever he started. With all that being said, I think it's when we come to predicting this match, it's so difficult. There's so many different factors that can change between now and Sunday. Rashford's fitness, Martial's fitness. We don't know who's going to be a centre back for City, and I think it'll all just depend really on what we can do to stop City playing. I think that's what it comes down to. If we can stop City playing how they want to play the game, hit them on the break, make them uncomfortable, make them sweat, we could have every chance to get something from this game. The way we've been playing, the way our defence has been playing, I think it's I think it's a possibility. I'm not going to sit here and tell us like we're definitely going to win, but I'm always the optimist, always a United fan, and I'm going to go for 2-1. 2-1 to United. Going brave, probably going to get clipped up, but going 2-1 for United. We're going to go Haaland scoring for City with Rashford and Jadon Sancho scoring for United. If you've liked the video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It's our first video, we're trying something new, and if you like the content, stick around for more. We'll try to be as interactive as we can. Any comments I will respond to. You can follow our socials, we've left the links in the description, and yeah, thanks very much. See you guys later.